Tunavites, don't you see the egg on my face? Can't you see it? I have lost the Tuna Buzz Bowl. I got Derrick Henry, as they like to call it. And Richard, I don't know where your
I
crown
do like to
is.
call it that.
Yeah, you should be wearing a crown right now. Derrick Henry, King Henry. Because I just single-handedly just got taken out by Derrick Henry himself, and so I'm going to give you just your moment, your time here to celebrate. And
well, I'm not going to celebrate too hard. I was really into Monday night. I was still down by like 25 or so points, and I just had Aaron Rodgers, and the week prior did not give me a lot of hope. So I was just really hoping for a little bit of love from Aaron, and he did a pretty good job. I will say I watched that. I watched the Monday night with the Manning brothers, and that was fun to watch. But watching those touchdowns, it was like 2 of those touchdowns that he's credited for was like a pass to Aaron Jones. Yeah. Aaron Jones did all the work. Like, let's be honest. I got lucky.
Yeah, what they call them, like the touch passes or whatever, that they just like.
Yeah, it was just like it was technically a pass, but it was like, here you
go. Yeah. Those are so weird to me when you watch them. Like I think of it as just like a, when they do like a halfback toss, or whatever. It's just it's weird. Just I understand why they call it a pass, but it's just when you look at it, it doesn't look like it. Just looks like it's a. Anyway, it's just weird. But yeah, hey, it counts. It counts,
and I take it.
Yeah, no, Richard, I knew it was over when Derrick Henry went off. I felt pretty good. I was like going through Sunday, and I wasn't obviously, I was having some good guys, some good players, and some not so good. But I thought, Derrick Henry didn't do anything for like the first half of that game, and then it was like an explosion, like he does so often in the second half, and. I wasn't concerned. Maybe you were about Aaron Rodgers, but I figured Monday Night Football against the Lions, I figured I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised by the result. So congrats on the victory, and
thank you.
Get a first victory on the board, 1-1.
Yeah, it was great. It pays to have Henry, Rodgers, and Hopkins, huh?
Yeah.
And my 55 fab got me a whole 7 extra points. That was the difference right there.
Yeah, I know. Well, who knows? That's the thing with fab. You just never know. Although I guess, Mitchell getting, hurt or banged up or whatever, that's just kind of par for the course for the 49ers running backs.
2 years in a row now, right?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I know. That's a tough situation. But hey, your stars showed up, and sometimes that's all you need is just your main star players to put up huge games, and that gives you a win. At least you weren't on the other side where Aaron had Aaron Jones and he still lost. Seeing the waste of a 40-point game. Yeah. I mean, that's tough when you got a guy who goes for 40 points and you lose. That's tough.
Well, who plays Jay Sanders from Miami as a kicker? I mean, come on. Oh wait. Kickers are irrelevant. It should be irrelevant anyway.
Although,
it doesn't matter.
Richard, I guess we did mention this last week because we did it on Friday, but Graham Gano, 22 points last week. I mean,
yeah, who had Graham Gano? Who had that guy?
I don't know if anybody actually had him. I wish I did.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Well, let's talk about last week and just kind of we're just gonna Tunavites just kind of quickly hit last week and just recapping the games aside from me and Richard's game and
other people played too.
Yeah,
you mentioned Aaron Donald. We said this was going to be close, and it was close. I mean, it was great. I mean, obviously the kicker makes a difference, unfortunately, but it wasn't. I mean, if Blankenship got 0, he would have still won. But I mean, it was still a really close game, and it was. I mean, Brady is just incredible. It's just what he can do at the age he is just is just unfair. I'm jealous. So
It
yeah.
It is one of those, that they just, it's hard to, can't really put it into words. And, as a Bucks fan, we're going to keep riding it and as long as it goes.
And I don't know. I don't know. I was watching that game and I was watching Atlanta, and I'm getting nervous about Mike Davis. Cordell Patterson did all the work. Mike Davis barely did anything. And I'm not sure I'm not sure how Aaron feels about that. I'm curious what his opinion about that is.
Yeah, I would too. I think that the concerns that a lot of us had about Mike Davis, so there were some. I remember in the draft night there were some. I think there was a couple people that liked Mike Davis, and then some that, like Nathan, that were pretty skeptical. And I was more on the skeptical side.
Me too.
But again, of course, I didn't think Atlanta. Their offense has just not been good at all so far, and so. Yeah, that definitely hurts. And Aaron's got Pitts too. So, having two guys with Atlanta for the first 2 weeks, that's gonna be hard. And Aaron's off to another tough start like he was last year. Donald, who now is leading the division at 2-0, not somebody again we were expecting, but here he is.
Yeah.
And
looking good. Looking really good. Tom Brady's making him look good. That trade for Kittle was a good trade for him.
Yeah, well, and honestly, Kittle really hasn't.
Well, you're right. I take that back. You're right.
So if Kittle gets going, then Mike Williams, that's been the big. He's been the guy that they've talked about for years that he could be, and now he's been good. He's been awesome for Donald.
That's true.
So just interesting in that division. We'll see. We'll see if Donald keeps it up. Because we've all agreed that was the toughest division. At least we thought, looking into this season. So
yeah. He's still riding with Tebow, huh? What is this? It says Philadelphia on it. What's happening?
Yeah.
Come on, Donald. Clean that up. Clean that up, please.
Yeah, this is fantasy football for you, where you can hold Tim Tebow on your bench and be leading your division. It doesn't affect you. That's just
that's fantasy and Deshaun football. Watson.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Still going to win anyways. Well, Richard, I think I've taken some heat. And I guess this is why I said, when I pick from last year on to this year, when I pick teams, who I think is going to win, it's been going the other way. And I took some heat from PC. He won and beat Bruce.
I think we all picked against him, if I remember last week.
Yeah, he wasn't too thrilled with Tuna Buzz.
He said, "Let me show you what I can do."
Yeah, I think he reminded us all just how good he still is, and that was, man. So he's still there, and Bruce, that was just Bruce just kind of had an off week, and So I would.
We've said it, like Kansas City. He's living and dying by Kansas City, but they took out Tyreek Hill completely, and that made a big difference for him.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no doubt. I think the way Bruce's team is structured, if he doesn't get the production from the running backs, which I think he's got a solid set of running backs. So if he doesn't get the production from them, then he's really relying on those stellar receivers. And if the receivers don't, like you just mentioned, Tyreek Hill last week, if he has an off week, then that's going to be a tough for him. But we'll see. Like I said, he's not as worse off. I think he's got some solid running backs compared to some of our other teams in the league that are really hurting right now. So it could be worse on that. In that way.
Yeah, I'm worried about Gaskin because he lost his quarterback. Be interesting to see what happens there with Jacoby Brissett. I think is the backup or is the starter now.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious what that's going to look like. But yeah.
And on PC side, I'll just quickly mention this. Dalvin Cook, of course, is banged up again, and he may or may not play this week. But it will be interesting to see how PC navigates this. He did it. He's done it the last however many years he's had Dalvin Cook. When he gets hurt, and he's got Madison. So, we'll just see how that goes moving forward. But, PC again he did really good this last week, just moving different parts of his roster, with guys, so he's got some guys that he drafted that, are really doing well. So.
What is this? Get out of here. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let's go to Nathan and Dwayne.
Nathan and Dwayne.
I'm sorry, Nathan and Daryl, excuse me.
Nathan and Daryl. Yeah, there you go. Well, what can we say? Daryl just had one of the worst weeks, probably one of the lowest weeks we'll see this year. And Nathan just is chugging along. Kyler Murray probably, at this point, he'd be, MVP front runner for quarterback probably in the early part of the season. So, and just, he's just his team's awesome. So there's not really much else to say. I think Daryl just really didn't have anybody. Sterling Shepard was the best of his, entire bunch. So
Dak had the worst turnout for a winning team. It was just bad. It was bad. I'm not sure what happened with him.
Yeah, I don't either. That was kind of weird. I was surprised for a lot of people, with them. But, Nathan, he did, and Jonathan had mentioned this in one of the group chats, but Nathan doing the the double tight end play, and that's, normally you don't do that because there's so few tight ends, we're starting to begin with, and that paid off, and for Nathan Gronk, another 2 touchdowns. So
he didn't switch him like I asked him. I'm kind of upset that he didn't do
that. Nathan,
it's okay.
Yeah. Well, Nathan's clear. I'll just say this: Nathan's clearly he's definitely the favorite in that division. And
for sure.
So
for sure, it's gonna be hard to beat him this year for sure. All right, Josh and Dwayne. We kind of saw this coming, although it's a lot closer than I thought it would be. We kind of been crapping on Josh's team. I keep trying to tell him he needs to contact me on those running backs, but that's beside the point. But yeah, there's not much to talk about here. Dwayne just was able to go against Josh this week. Otherwise, I think he would have had a difficult time with anybody else, right? Or well, I forget is he in the division with Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was top 2 of his division, so it's possible he would have beat his brother. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if he was playing somebody else that scored more points, he left a lot of points on his bench, so it didn't come back to haunt him.
Yeah, that's true.
He
needs to talk to me about Sutton if he's going to leave him on his bench all the time.
Yeah. Well, these are some of those tough lineup decisions, and hey, I get it. We talked a little bit about our game in the beginning, and I put DJ Moore on the bench, and he had a great week last week, and ultimately, ended up being one of the things that cost me a win. But that just happens. Yeah. You're trying to, especially with receivers, if you're starting 3 and you're having one in the flex, you go over, you're trying to pick between 2 guys. That happens more often than not. Thankfully for Dwayne, it didn't cost him, a win here. So Dwayne, you're gonna have to do better on the coaching front. But hey, he got a win. The win's a win. He's 1-1. So again, like we always talk about, Richard, you just got to get those W's. So.
All right, and then the 1 point difference win. Man, it feels good when you win by 1 point. It feels terrible when you lose by 1 point.
Especially when it goes into Monday Night Football and you're ahead, and then the guy right there, comes in with his player and gets just enough to win.
Yeah.
And that was pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. It's obviously tough for John Mack, but I look at it this way. John Mack, he's still doing great. It wasn't like, I had a bad scoring week, and but it is tough, and it does happen. And Jonathan has been, well, probably most of us have been on that side where we lost by a point or two, and that is tough. It makes it tougher when it's Monday night.
What I keep finding with Jonathan's team is I'll look up a player to see where they are, and they're always on Jonathan's team. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm curious where that player is. Oh, Jonathan has him. Like Hawkinson, I'm like, I can't remember who picked up Hawkinson. Who drafted him? Oh, Jonathan drafted him. Okay.
No, well, and he's one of those guys that Jonathan drafted early. After early in the draft, and that's paid off big time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that's a big difference maker on his roster. So, and he obviously was the difference why he won this week. So yeah, 2-0, and Jonathan is kind of starting like he did last year, and leading the division early on here. Yeah, big win for Jonathan, and like I said, John Mack, I wouldn't be. I mean, he obviously his running backs, definitely let him down this last week, but he's still got a really good team going forward. All right, what do we got for free agent bidding, Richard?
Well, not a whole lot. The big bid was me again for Darnell Mooney. I think that was this week, right?
Richard, I have a question.
Is
your plan to go broke on Fab by week 5? Just checking. I mean, I just
when I saw Darnell Mooney was dropped, so I wanted Darnell Mooney from the beginning, but he got signed by you or Nathan. I can't remember who.
Nathan.
And so I almost offered him a trade for him, but I really didn't want to give up anybody to get him. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna let it be, because I kind of thought of him as a sleeper for the year. Anyway, he dropped him, and I waited a week or so, and I was like, I want to see where my players are, that kind of thing. And then obviously Nelson Aguilar kind of struggled this past week and the week prior. It just didn't seem like the balls just spread out too thin for New England. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drop him. And I remember Darnell was still on there, so I went for him. And he had a great week last week, so I put a $9 bid on it. I think I was $6 or $5 more than Aaron, if I recall. I can't see where. Let me see. Do the full Fab, I guess. That's what I should do. Where is it? Oh, yeah, five more than Aaron. But no, I'm just trying to build best I can. I knew I was going to be weak at wide receiver and running back, and as far as number 2s, so I'll take them where I can find them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you did outbid Aaron. Aaron was going for him, and hey, if that's again, we talked about, if that's your guy and you want him, then Mooney's a good player. He was a guy that had been talked a little bit about before the season. I looked at him, and we'll see with Justin Fields, at least for this week, what might happen with Mooney. So he definitely is a guy that people probably should be more familiar with and will be, I think, because aside from Allen Robinson, he's really the next receiver up. So, but yeah, it was kind of a quiet, relative to last week. It was a quiet week. I mean, there was definitely some competitive. I mean, for the guys that were picked up, I mean, there was obviously interest in the ones that people went out and got, and just not a high dollar amount.
I mean, the Raiders defense was the big pickup of the week, I think, for our league. Obviously, a lot of people went for him. I put a $0 bid because I didn't correctly assess that more people were going to look at defenses. If I had, I might have put a better bid in there than 0, but I was hoping I could just sneakily get it. So that didn't work out. So but I think that was the big pickup for the week, was the Raiders defense. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
So now I'm rooting for Miami to go nuts. So
that makes 2 of us. So that makes 2 of us. Yeah, come on, Jacoby Brissett. I'll light it up.
Well, let's go on to this week's games. So we're not rushing through, but we're going through quickly this week, guys, just because we're family men. We got stuff to do besides fantasy football, so we're just trying to bring you a faster podcast to begin with. So.
Yeah, Tuna Bites. I believe it or not, we do actually do other things besides talk about and look at fantasy football. I know it's hard to believe, but yeah. So, all right, Richard. Yeah. So let's.
I'm first in rushing. Look at that.
Hey.
I wonder if Derrick Henry has anything to do with that.
Yeah. Well, I say a combination between Derrick Henry and just how bad the state of running back is early on this season. I think will probably be, as far as scoring goes.
Look at the rest of it, though. It's pretty bad. So I got work to do.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a week to week game, and it changes so fast. Changes really quick. So, but so your game, you and John Mack this week.
Yeah. I have the same feeling like I had against Jonathan. I'm not high hopes. I need to figure out my defense. That's probably the biggest worry I have right now. Receiving, I feel okay, but the running backs, I feel okay. But defense, I think, is where I'm really nervous about. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, here's an interesting thing. I mean, we'll quickly go through this matchup. John Mack's coming off. Both his running backs had some disappointing games last week. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. And this week, you obviously had Derrick Henry off the week. Question mark.
Real quick, Reid, he didn't play Saquon last week. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did. He was he had the guts to do that, and I actually didn't have I wasn't actually like, oh, it was it kind of made sense. Saquon's still coming back from that injury, and I think he's going to be like most guys coming back from ACLs, that injury like that. That usually takes some games to get kind of just back and feeling good, and for Saquon, I mean, he had a big run in the game and then just did nothing else. So. As far as this week goes, I guess, Richard, a big, one of the question marks, I guess, I don't know if you saw today, I saw that DeAndre Hopkins are saying is a game time decision. Mm-hmm. And now here's the thing about Hopkins, and I owned Hopkins some years in our league, and he always be banged up. He wouldn't practice, and then he's always played. So I guess I'd be more surprised if he doesn't play, just because he always has, and he finds a way to be on the field. But just something, just to note, because obviously that would have big implications for you in your game with John Mack if he didn't play. And it's a great matchup. So against Jacksonville. So, this game, just kind of looking through, I'm probably, I think this game's going to be closer. I think this game's going to be closer than maybe I think it's going to be closer than what the prediction is. Man, I like some of your matchups, Richard. You got some really good matchups. I guess here's where I'm at. I guess because, I guess the question marks is Beckham coming back. Is he going to be 100%? And of course Hopkins, is he play? And so I guess, just because of those question marks, I guess I'm going to go with John Mack on this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if you won this week, because I really like some of your matchups.
Yeah, I mean, Landry's out, and Beckham is maybe coming back this week, so that's why I have him playing. And if Landry was still there and he was coming back, I probably wouldn't put him in there. I'd probably put in Damian Harris. We'll see what happens. I'm still fluid. I might put Kenny Galladay in. He's looking like he's a possibility to have a good game. I don't know. Elijah Mitchell, we discussed earlier, is banged up. He might not play. So I have a lot of iffy, low tier people to play. That's why I'm not excited about this week, or any week, because I just can't seem to find that diamond in the rough right now.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. This is just kind of, not really necessarily your matchup, but after this week, is this kind of for you with Brandon Ayuk? Is this like a big week for you, or where you're at with him?
I'm pretty much. I don't know how to take Ayuk. I drafted him high. I drafted him in the 3rd round, my second pick in the 3rd round. He's my 2nd pick overall. So I had high hopes for him. I've kind of written him off as a bust already. I don't anticipate. So I'm looking at it more of like I added him from the waiver wire, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens. That's kind of the way I'm treating him right now. So if a trade came my way to buy him low, it would just depend on what the trade was. That's kind of the way. I don't plan on dropping him. I don't think it's worth dropping him. I think I need to hold him. Right. It seems like he just needs to be at practice more, is what the rhetoric from the coaching staff is saying. He just needs to practice more. He needs to get better at practice for him to get more play time. And so kind of just waiting on that, and then see what happens. Debo, and then on top of that, Debo has injury history. So it's possible like Debo might get hurt, and then Ayuk will come in and take more of the shares that way. So there's a lot of possibilities with him, but that's kind of I'm not planning on starting him until I see actual like legit playing time and action from him.
Yeah, I think that he's probably like just a guy that you hold right now, and just with what's going on. Obviously, he's got a lot of talent, and they're definitely an odd kind of start, and just the way things have unfolded there. But all right, well, so I'm picking John Mack this week, but it should be an entertaining game. Who are we going to next?
We're gonna go to the next one down the list. I didn't prepare ahead of time too much, so we're just gonna go down the list. And it looks like it's gonna be you or John.
Richard, you're not supposed to tell them that, okay? They need to think that we spend endless hours preparing for this professional operation.
We're trying to go quick, right? So anyway, I mean, you're favored heavily, and that's mainly because Christian McCaffrey got injured yesterday during the game, and so his points output just wasn't available like normal. So that's a big deal and unfortunate for you. Unfortunate for John Mack, or not John Mack, Jonathan. It's late. Sorry, guys. It's late in the evening for me. Lamar versus Josh Allen. I mean, this is going to be they're not playing against each other, but it's a great matchup for both of them. I think they're both going to do really well. I don't know who's going to do better. It depends. I think both quarterbacks are evenly matched. I think they're going to score more than 30 points each for sure. But the running backs, I'm going to give you the running backs. I think Pittsburgh said that they want Najee to run a lot more. So that's good news for you. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on there with him and Pollard. Pollard seems to be doing a lot of work that Ezekiel can do. And the issue with Ezekiel Elliott is he's not getting those passing receptions like he used to with Dak. If you watch Hard Knocks, there's no beef between them. They're like best friends. So it's kind of weird that Dak's not targeting him more. But if he starts getting those receptions, Elliott's going to do a lot better. He's going to score a lot more points. But we'll see what happens this week against Philadelphia. It's a division matchup. Who knows what's going to happen? They'll probably pull out some additional stuff. You having DJ Moore this week, I think, was a big benefit for you, correct? I'm trying to remember this.
Yes.
So being ahead on that is great. AJ Brown, I think, is going to have a good game against Indianapolis with Marvin Jones plays for Jacksonville. Arizona's been showing up. DK Metcalf is going to be amazing. I think he's going to be great. Minnesota's defense is terrible.
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson is he's the breakout tight end this year. He's the Darren Waller of this year so far. And I'm jealous. I'm really jealous because I kept my tight end and he's not doing as well. Yeah. And Terry McLovin, man, I really wish somehow I could have gotten him during the draft. I really wanted him, but you picked him in the second quarter. First pick in the second quarter. within the first few picks of the second round. And I was really jealous of that. But so good pickup by you. I'm complimenting your side more often, and that's for good reason. I think you're going to win. It's obviously CBS thinks the same thing. That's just the bottom line. I think where you're going to get your win is in the running backs, and then I think your wide receivers. But I think your running backs are going to make a big difference compared to Jonathan's, and that's mainly just because Christian McCaffrey's out. So
yeah, I think that's tough. I mean, obviously, it's one thing to lose one of your starting players, but it's another to lose the best player in fantasy football, to an injury early enough in a game. We only had 5 points for Jonathan. So Jonathan, I'll say Jonathan, I mean, he, as much, he drafted a lot of running backs, but he is really getting hit. He had Mostert that, obviously got hurt, then Henderson last week, and then McCaffrey this week. And, just like we talked about, sometimes even when you try to draft a lot of running backs, sometimes you just get hit hard. And, so it just, and I think you had some good analysis on the Zeke situation with Pollard. That one. I know Jonathan has to be very frustrated. I mean, glad he owns both of them, but at the same time, it's kind of become this two-headed, type of backfield, and so that just makes it tough for fantasy purposes. So that's just an interesting situation to watch going forward. But hey, battle commissioners, and I'm
Commissioner Brawl.
Yeah, listen, I'm looking for my first win, and I'm just going to point this out, because this is more on CBS. Okay, I've been projected to win every week so far, and I'm 0-2. So, when I see CBS saying, projecting me, which before the Christian McCaffrey injury, I think I was projected to win by a couple points or something. But when I saw that this week, and I thought, really, it's like, you guys are going to do that to me again? You're setting me up for failure. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. Again, like evidence as last week, with Henry, if Jonathan has one or two guys just go off, anything can happen. So, he could still pull it out. We'll see what happens this week. So, all right. Well, where are we going next, Richard?
We're going to go to our part-time co-host extraordinaire in his matchup against Josh, or should I say bye week?
Oh gosh,
this is unfortunate. Josh, call me. Call somebody, please.
Richard, I have this feeling that Josh doesn't respond, but we're going to just see in some future weeks this trade between Josh and Jonathan, and we'll all be like, wait, what happened?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. That's what's going to happen. And we're going to be like, wait a minute here. I have a trade offer that's been sitting there.
Well, I can't say anything, Richard, because I have been accused of having, the brother network connection on trading, with Nathan. So I can't say anything because I've, me and Nathan have done some trades, and, but yeah, let me say this about this game. Or the projected score, Richard, this is the highest score I've ever seen projected for our team in our league settings, like our current league settings. I've never seen a team projected for this highest score. And I think it was like before, it says 159 today. I think it got as high as like 162 or something when I had looked before. And just incredible for this week. His matchups, his team, as long as Nathan's guys stay healthy, his stars, if they stay healthy, then there's no reason to think. And this division, Josh is on the other end of the spectrum. He's hurting very badly. So if Josh were somehow to win, it would be one of the biggest upsets I think we've ever had if Josh were to win this week. I'll just say that.
It would take a lot. I mean, Justin Herbert would need to show up against Kansas City, which probably is going to happen. In order for them to even be close to winning, he's going to have to do. Philadelphia's got to do well against Dallas. I mean, Dallas' defense is not that great. Tony, this is the running back duo, right? I don't know what. Kamara's been struggling with the offense the way it is. Tony Jones maybe comes in and steals a touchdown or something like that. It's possible. I mean, I can see a road. I will say the 0 is concerning. I know Deontay Johnson is injured. I don't know if he's been ruled out. It seems he has if he's getting a 0.
Yeah, he's been ruled out. And Josh, I got a little secret for you. Why don't you put in Rondell Moore? I think that might be a good move. Put in Rondell Moore and
So if he puts in Rondell Moore, it's still not even close, but it's a lot better.
Hey, if it gets you over 100, I mean,
you're going against Kyler Murray, who's gotten 40 points, plus 40 points the last 2 weeks. So
yeah,
it's gonna be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I drafted him. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to Donald and Bruce, the battle of the coaches.
Richard, I'm going to just go ahead and get everything. Oh, wait, sorry. I was thinking, never mind. Okay, on this matchup. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and this is interesting. Donald, he's 2-0. And although I did pick him to beat Aaron last week, so I did get one game pick right. But I like Bruce in this. I like Bruce to rebound in this game. And I think Tyreek Hill will have a big game. I think he'll come back and have a big-time game. And, Donald's been really good. I mean, Donald has been a lot better than I thought he was going to be, even though I picked him last week. He's been much better. But I think Bruce will rebound this week.
I think so, too. And I got to be honest, I think Brady is not going to do as well this week. I think he's going to be – I think the Rams' defense is pretty good. I think the interesting thing about them is what receiver is going to be the main guy. Who's Jalen Ramsey going to be covering? I don't think they're going to have Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
So they lose a weapon. So it's one less person they got to worry about out of the 4 weapons they have. So I think Brady's going to come down a notch this week. I think I think Tampa Bay is still going to win, but I think Brady's not going to be doing as much. The running backs for Bruce is a lot better. The wide receivers, a lot better for Bruce.
Well, it's pretty good matchup. Receivers are kicker. Yeah, it's Richard's favorite segment, the kickers.
They're okay, but Julio hasn't really done much. He's still. I don't know. I'm not counting Julio yet. I can't count him yet. He hasn't done much.
Well, last week he had a good game. He finally had a good game. It was AJ Brown who was on the other end, and it didn't really do much for me. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess if Kittle goes off, we kind of been waiting for Kittle to kind of take off and have a big Kittle-esque game. But it'll be a competitive game, I have no doubt. But even with Bruce's tough tight end, I mean that's definitely been the weak link of Bruce's team is tight end. But I think Bruce is going to rebound. I think the Chiefs are going to score a lot of points like they normally do. And
Bruce lost faith in Clyde, huh?
Yeah, well, damn man, that's been a big conundrum this year is CEH and how the Chiefs are using them and just what he's not doing, and it almost feels like to me that I think he's fine running back to have, but I kind of feel like it's going to be one of those running backs, almost like, and I hate to even say this because I'm a Bucs fan, but I almost feel like it's like a Ronald Jones kind of thing where everybody wants Ronald Jones, or they've wanted Ronald Jones to be something that maybe he's just not going to be as a running back, and maybe CH will be fine and be a solid running back, but maybe he's not going to be the superstar running back that the Chiefs and everybody want him to be.
Well, he's supposed to be a passing running back, and he's not getting the ball passed to him at all. No. So that's the crazy thing, and it's because the outlet for Mahomes is. The outlet for Mahomes is the tight end. It's not the running back. It's not the running back, and that's the biggest deal. That's the deal there.
Yeah. So. All right. So who else we got? PC and Aaron. Is that our last one?
2 more. Yeah, PC and Aaron is next.
Okay.
I apologize. My camera's a little funny. I know you guys can't see me, but Reid can, so it might be confusing him.
I'm good. So PC is playing the quarterback carousal here, and it worked for him last week. And I don't see any reason why it won't work. Derek Carr obviously has been hot, and yeah, I'm not going against PC. I'm sorry, Aaron. I know you're 0-2, but it's every time I pick against PC, he seems to win. So,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go with that. And if PC loses, he loses. But I'm going to pick PC. I have no real analysis to that. Just that I already decided I'm not going to pick against him. So,
well, I'm going to pick against him, and I'll tell you why. It's one is the running back. Dalvin is questionable. I mean, PC does have the backup. He does have where is he? Alexander Madison to step in, but he's not Dalvin Cook. On top of that, if you go back to the ring, James White is a nice player and all, but he's in passing downs only, and he's touchdown dependent. So that's an interest. That's obviously a tough deal. Mike, I already kind of besmirched Mike Davis, but they're going against the Giants. It's entirely possible that things get going there. Aaron Jones was a beast last week. I think it's possible for him to do that again against San Francisco. The wide receivers, Devontae Adams versus Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is a little banged up as well. I think he was either questionable or I can't remember. I have to look it up again. But wide receivers, it's kind of maybe it says even or close to even, so I'll say that. Tight end is a big deal. Kyle Pitts versus Travis Kelce, I get the edge to PC. I don't know. I just have a feeling that PC is going to lose this week. Aaron's going to get the win. He's being very consistent with his points. PC has been really low and really high. It's 2 weeks. It's not the whole season. But Aaron's been in the 130s, 140s both weeks. So I'm going to give it to Aaron. I have faith in Aaron.
Okay. Well, it very well could happen, especially in this division. So, but we shall see, Richard. Well, I think that was everybody. Did we do everybody?
No, we got Vanna White versus his brother.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The Battle of the Bros. Battle of the Bros. All right. Well,
so for those that don't know, there are 3 sets of brothers in this league. So, but anyway, for those that randomly find this random Tuna buzz.
Hey, we have many fans, Richard, and I take that as an insult. Okay, it's a very big community in Tuna Land, and let's not cut ourselves short. Okay, let's inform our viewers just to make sure they understand that how many sets of brothers we have in here. Okay, so I'm not sure if everybody knew that, but so Dwayne and Daryl. This one, I think I like Dwayne. Dwayne could have had a lot more points last week, and he left a lot of points on the bench. I do expect for Daryl. I do expect Jonathan Taylor to. He really hasn't had a great game yet this year, and I expect him to have a good game. But I like Dwayne's lineup better this week. Obviously we've always talked about Daryl having injuries, to key guys, but I think this is going to be a Dwayne week.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Although I will note that, for the future that, Daryl picking, Jubba Hubbard, will pay off at least for a couple weeks as long as Christian McCaffrey is out. So there you go. There you go, Daryl. See, I'm giving you some kudos.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it. I think that's all the games.
It is. I will say, Richard, couple notes. One thing to Tuna-vites, okay? I just want to remind everybody. But so if you have practice squad, your practice squad is 4 COVID players that are put on the COVID list, or if there's a game that comes into question. Although I think now the NFL's kind of figured out how they're going to just continue on with games in COVID. But that is what the practice squad is for. IR is just for the guys that go on IR, whether that's short term or the season. So just as a reminder to just everybody, as we get, because as the season goes on, like I have Antonio Brown, he's on the COVID list. So I put him on the practice squad. So that's going to happen as we go on in the season. So just a reminder to everybody. And of course, all the injuries, man, they are piling up. And Richard, here's the thing: as we go further each week, I'm like, the trades are going to start coming. They're, people, once we get kind of past this week and maybe week 4, and everyone's kind of figuring out really what they need in their teams. We'll probably start seeing some action, at least the trade talk. I don't know how the trade talk is out there, but I'm sure it'll just heat up as we get going the next couple weeks. So,
yeah, I think it'll start heating up. I think not next week, but the week after next. I think after 4 weeks, people will start settling into what the records are, and things will start moving along. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and not to mention, we've just talked about how the injuries for the running backs. Just imagine when all the bye weeks start and that starts hitting everybody. That's just going to make it like, desperation place for people unless you make some trades. So. Yeah, it was sad. It was sad we weren't able to have Nathan here with us this week. So
he's got his duties.
Yeah, I heard that Captain Insano was a little bit challenging this week, and that I think he had to have like an intervention or something.
Oh, no.
I think because he was like something about being 2-0, and he just couldn't handle being 2-0 and winning. And so, anyways, I don't know. That's just what I heard. So we're hoping that we'll have Nathan back with us next week, and maybe we can ask him, what exactly happened to him. In fact, we haven't even seen any kind of video from Nathan / Captain Insano. So little concerned right now for them, because we've seen this movie before, Richard. He would start out the season, he was doing the videos, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared.
Yeah, but that was because he was losing. I thought we'd get a lot more because he's winning, but I guess he can't handle winning either.
I know it is hard. It's hard to handle the winning. I mean, but hey, listen, Nathan, if you want to throw over those W's to me, I think I can handle the winning. So, if that's too hard for Captain Insano, I'll take him. Because I got 0. So. All right, Tuna Bites. Well, good luck this week, and as we continue on this season. So we love the banter, and so we love how you guys just tear our show apart and criticize us all day long, and we appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but for real, we'll see you guys next week, and best of luck this weekend.
All right, see you guys.